Welcome back to Income Trading 101. Today is March the 2nd, Tuesday, March 2nd. Wanted to take a look at Zoom, Zoom video communications. Just about everyone is familiar with Zoom these days. Since the pandemic, their stock has just done amazing things because of the increase in monthly subscribers. So let's just go ahead and pull this out. Oh, looks like I've reached the end of the road, which would have been, it looks like this thing IPO'd around, we'll call it April of 2019. And, IPO'd somewhere in the 60 something, looks somewhere around 60 something dollar range. Today it's trading $372. That's normal, right? Wow, what an amazing time this has been. So I'm just going to go ahead. I know they had earnings not too long ago, last week it appears, and their earnings surprised by 8 cents, so that's always a positive. Let's look at, and even though it had a rough day today, so let's take a really rough day actually. Wow, let's just take a moment and look at this day. Look at this. On today, the day that I'm making this video, it opened at $439, right? It went as high as $440, so only 40 cents higher, and its low was $371.82, closing the day at $372.79. That is a huge, huge swing for the day from its open to close. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this thing from a technical standpoint and see where it might be. So whether it's a buy, a sell, a hold, a not quite. We're going to go ahead with the 10-day and start off. Now, I do like starting off. You guys know I tend to enter the markets using the shorter time frames, but I like to start off with the same sort of indicators and the same look every time. So I go with the daily data and go from there. So we're going to do a 10-day, a 20-day, and a 60. And this looks normal. I mean, this huge rally that Zoom experienced from last February all the way to its high in October of 2020. You had the 10-day higher than the 20, significantly higher than the 60, and then it started to trail off, and it's had a period of clear bear markets, looking at specifically December, late November of 2020, all the way even through this little crossover of the 10 and the 20 that happened January 20th. So you had about 2 months of very clear downward channel, really more than that, but I'm just saying with regards to these moving averages all being in line with the 60-day higher than the 10 and higher than the 20. Right now, it appears to be in a bit of a state of confusion, because if you notice that 10 is the 10 days below the 20, but above the 60, which means it's a little bit in a bit of a congestion area. So let's go ahead and play with time a little bit. We're going to take it from a day to an hourly bars. What an amazing day. I mean, I'm just shocked at this move. Really, top to bottom, you had $68. That's a significant chunk of change for one day's move. So looking at this, we still have some congestion at the 1 hour point, because you have the 10-day higher, the 10 period higher than the 60, which is higher than the 20. So this would also qualify as congestion, but I'm willing to bet it's going to get worked out here in the next day or so, given this sort of a move, and whether or not price really does rebound or continue going lower. Let's look at the 30-minute. So on the 30-minute, of course, you still have more congestion. You have the 20 period higher than the 10, which is above the 60. So they're once again out of order, and they have been out of order since we'll call it last week, really just before earnings on February 26th. And finally, I'm going to take a look at the 15-minute just for the fun of it. And well, the 15-minute level did clean up. You've got the 60 higher than the 20 and higher than the 10. So today's data actually changed the full direction with the 15-minute moving averages, and it moved it all the way into definitely more of a clear bearish trend. So if you're using a shorter time frame or using the 15-minute as a buy or sell signal, you're probably looking to sell this right now. All right, let's go ahead and take this back to the daily. I'm going to look at the moving average convergence, divergence, the MACD indicator. I like the way it's sort of a variation on the theme of moving averages, and it gives you similar but different information. So no surprise here. You had a crossover back here on, let's see, that would be February 22nd, so that's last week. You had a crossover, actually it was last week, a crossover of the MACD and the signal line, and at this point the MACD line is actually below the zero line. The signal line hasn't quite gotten there. And for those of you who want a little bit more of a tutorial on MACD or moving averages or anything, there's a video that I live streamed. I actually had to do it twice. The first one was too long, so but there's a video that it explains these three technical indicators sort of at length, even some of the calculations of it. So definitely check out that video. It is part of the channel, so if you just click on the videos or click on the channel, go to the videos tab, you'll see it. I believe I posted it maybe a week ago Sunday, I'm not sure, but it's how to trade stock with technical analysis. Pretty basic. It's a mini course, about 45 minutes long. Definitely worth watching for those of you who are still trying to get a grasp of how all of this is calculated and what it actually means and how you might be able to use it for your own trading. So we're going to take this down to a lower time frame. Go with the 1 hour again. So the 1 hour, of course, today, this looked like a bullish trend until today, around midday. We had a cross of the MACD line and the signal line, still above the zero line. So it's crossing in overbought territory, which could make this actually a decent time period to purchase. I'm sorry, to sell in. Of course, when we drop it down to 30-minute, you have the same thing. It's just a matter of the fact that the MACD line has gone into the negative territory. It's gone below the zero line, which means it's going to get into the oversold category. But it's still not. It's not too late to look to short or put on short trades for this stock. It looks like today was such a strong move. I would anticipate it going further just out of momentum. And look at the 15. The 15-minute really crossed earlier this morning and went straight on lower. So very interesting day. Very interesting day for this one. Let's go ahead. We can actually look at some Fibonacci analysis, which I love, especially in these scenarios, because I want to look at this rally from really from the start of 2020 all the way up here to October and see just how far we've come off as a retracement. So we're going to just do a regular Fibonacci analysis. I'm going to start it here in January of 2020 and take it to the top of October, or the top of this stock. But I pull it over just so I can get a clean view of what's what. So we see we had at the 23% level, 23% retracement. You see that this level actually played a little bit of support. The 38% level, this actually played a little bit of support, actually got a rally before it crashed on down, and then almost played a little bit more support back here in December. Very interesting. Markets obviously came on through it and just about touched, isn't that interesting? Just about touched the 50% retracement level. Go figure. And now we, price moved from there back up to this 38.2% area where it appeared to have some resistance, pushed it lower, pushed above, and now we're sort of just chopping on down. So I think this stock, it's really interesting. I can look at this and make the argument for a continued short. The reason, depending on your time frame, why I would even consider shorting this is that these big days, especially the ones that fill in a nice gap, there. They tend to have another down day. You normally don't have a big down day like today and all of a sudden a rally after that. You can see in the past history of this stock, anytime it's had a big red bar, it's had another one in the next couple days. Although you had two in a row here, you had a big red bar, but then it had a mid-range green bar and ultimately pushed higher. So as usual, I'm looking at waiting another day, but I could actually look at this and say, well, do I expect it to go higher or do I expect it to go lower? I like that we've pushed off of the 50% level. That's actually a strong positive. Should have done this differently, actually. Because really what I want, let's do this. What I really want, I'm going to connect these tops and see if we're getting higher highs and higher lows. Now, obviously, we've gone south of that, of this channel here recently, but don't ignore the idea that this thing could head higher. If we do have a couple of up days, this thing will probably pop right back into this channel and start to trend higher. We could even see a testing of the high if we go there. Let's just do a regular, little trend line here. And really what I want to see if this current level has played the high, at least of the day, if it has played any significant level. And really it doesn't appear, except for back here in the beginning of February, it doesn't appear to have been too important. How about this current level where we're sitting? This one actually is a little more interesting because it's closer to a region that played a little bit of support here in late January. Look at that, played support in November, played support again in mid-November, played long support here in mid-December, and seemed to be a relevant level back in September. So we're at an interesting time. Given how many times this level has actually popped higher, man, it's hard for me to ignore that. Oftentimes there are resting bids sitting there in the market as well, and that's really what ends up creating the support. You get to that level and all of these buy orders start to trigger, and so that pushes price higher. Even though I think there could be another down day tomorrow, this is such a huge bar. The market could want a breather. If it pushes down below this level, sure, I think you could make you could look at a downward trend as well. But kind of thinking this thing might go higher, especially non-fundamentally. It had a very nice. They beat earnings. That's always a great place to start. Let me just do this really quickly and see. So yeah, I don't think it would go that lower. Sorry about that. Seem to be having challenges using my own indicators. Okay, so we pulled strongly out of that channel, out of that downward channel. Is it possible that we re-enter it? Sure. I'm more, at this point, I think it's more likely, since we did hit the 50% level, I think it's far more likely that, or at least we got close to it, it's more likely that we're going to start an upward trend, and that trend may actually push significantly higher than where we've been. So if I had to choose buy or sell, honestly, right now, I would likely ignore the moving averages. Like I say, the moving average is a lagging indicator. I mean, you can always wait to see a couple of green bars push it higher, but and today was such a strong down day. I would probably be looking at if I were going to do anything, it might be buying stock and looking to buy puts or something like that, just in case the stock does go lower. You'll at least protect it with the puts, but I think this stock has a little more energy to it. And we had such a big move in 2020 and a significant retracement back in Q4. I think this thing is starting off 2021, possibly pushing higher. So that is it for today's analysis. I'll definitely make another one tomorrow. Sorry to say the week. Thank you guys so much for listening, and definitely subscribe if you've not subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button as well. Thank you very much for all the comments, and that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy trading.